evening, everyone, and welcome to African Diaspora and Indigenous Storytelling. My name is Nina, and the pronouns I use are she, her, and I'm coming from the 519 EarlyON Glitterbug program. And with me here today is Natasha, who will be doing our African Diaspora portion, and later on, Robin will be joining us to do the Indigenous portion. Now, before we start, I always like for us to start off with something very important, with the land acknowledgement, to acknowledge the land that we're on and who we're sharing the land with. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and if you like to read along with me, that would be pretty great. And I'd like to give credit to Toronto Public Library for sharing this child-friendly land acknowledgement. So let's read along, friends. Haudenosaunee, Mississauga, and Anishinaabe nations came together with all their relations. Living together, they had a united wish to share the land and waters in peace like one spoon with a dish. Now many indigenous families, Métis and Inuit too, live here in treaty agreement with me and you. In a spirit of peace, friendship, and mutual respect, we protect each other and the land, which we should never forget. And I'm going to share another land acknowledgement with you all. And this one we don't really hear often. So this one is our African ancestral acknowledgement. And if you like to read along with me as well, that would be pretty awesome. So we also like to acknowledge that not all people came to these lands as migrants and settlers. Specifically, I wish to acknowledge those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. I pay tribute to these ancestors of African origin and descent. Though I am not a person of African descent, I am committed to continually acting in support of and in solidarity with Black communities seeking freedom and reparative justice in light of the history and ongoing legacy of slavery that continues to impact Black communities in Canada. Again, I invite you to join me in that work and hold me accountable to this commitment. So as I said previously, it is very important to know and learn about the land that we're on and who we're sharing the land with and who was here even before us. Yes, so without further ado, I'd like to welcome Natasha, who'll be doing our African Diaspora. Welcome, Natasha.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. It's Miss Natasha here. I hope you're doing well. And a happy new year. I hope that you have a wonderful new year, and I hope that you are going to find loads and loads of adventures to go on this year of 2020. I have two books today. One is called I Dare to Be by Elena Carr and Audrey Limbitsky and illustrated by Sarah Hall. There's Mr. B. Okay. Now, I went to I Dare to Be. I went to a bookstore and I got it signed by the author, or one of the authors, I should say. And she wrote to Natasha, I dare you to be kind. Keep smiling and shining brightly. Let's get this going. I dare to be. My mom took away my video games because I didn't clean my room. It's not fair. If you broke your promise, Jay, said B, grinning, I dare you to be responsible. Did Jay break her promise to her mom? You have to keep your things neat and tidy so then you don't get no icky smells and you don't have to think about tripping over anything as well, like that bowl. This is so much better. I cleaned my room and now we get to play, said Jay. B jumped on the bed and said, I know, it's awesome to be responsible. My cousins used to just let me hold the controllers. I never really got a chance to actually play the game. I was the smallest. Amil looked at B and said, someone should help Liam. They are being really mean to him. B whispered to her, why shouldn't that be you? I dare you to be brave. Nice paintings here as well. No one has ever stuck up for me before. Thank you, Amel, said Liam. Be proudly said, see, you can be the one who makes a difference. It's so good to be brave. Upset at her mark, Leah angrily says to B, I knew it. My teacher hates me. I understand you're upset, said B. But did you try your best? I dare you to be honest. Being honest is very, very helpful. As Leah reflected, she realized, no, I didn't study at all. It's not my teacher's fault. Delighted Bee exclaimed, now doesn't it feel better to be honest? She's thinking about it, and I think she thinks it is better to be honest. B, I feel bad because the new kid, Mavir, is all by himself. I noticed that too, Kevin. Well, I dare you to be kind. That would be nice. Thanks for inviting me to play. Mavir said, smiling. You all made a new friend today, said B happily. It's so fun to be kind. What's wrong? Asked B. My brother is making fun of me for the outfit I wore to the splash pad. B flew up to Rebecca smiling and said, if it makes you happy, then I dare you to be you. I'm having so much fun. I love being a water fairy. Bee went for a dive and shouted, "You look beautiful. That's fabulous. It's fabulous to be you." The end. I really liked this book, and when I went to the bookstore, I actually bought it and got the author to sign it. And I just remembered why. So I hope that you like the book. This is the back cover with all the characters on the back. I hope that you liked it. I really did. And just remember to always be you. That's all you can do. My next book is going to be The Ants and the Grasshopper. This book I had since I was a kid. And it just talks about being prepared and remembering to the world doesn't owe you a living. You have to create the world you want to see. And that's just my interpretation anyway. So here's the cover. "It's too hot to work," the grasshopper said one day. "I'll just relax." Nearby, some ants were busy working, every even even through though it was hot. Sometimes you gotta do what you don't want to do first so you could do what you want to do later. "Why are you working so hard in this heat?" the grasshopper asked. "We have to get ready for winter," said the ants. They're making sure that they have enough food for the winter. And this grasshopper just wants to sit and play. Sometimes we gotta work, just like in the other book, the young lady having to study hard and the young man having to clean up his room to in order to get to play his video games. You can't play video games all the time. "Why worry about winter?" said the grasshopper. "It's long way off." But autumn soon came, and after that winter, it was very cold. Now it's freezing, and the ants are here, nice and warm. Oh, there's a rabbit there, so that's not true. But the ants are in their nice warm place, and the grasshopper is freezing. The ants were warm and snug, and they had packed away plenty of food. See, they're underground, just communing and having a ball, all warm and snug, because you have to be prepared for things to come. But the poor grasshopper was cold and hungry and had to beg for food. So the grasshopper is going to go to the ants' home in order to gain some warmth and some food. And they don't have the last page, but in another book that I have, like this one, it shows that the ants open the door and take him in, give him a warm bucket to warm his feet and some warm soup to eat, sit him by the fire and ask him to play some music while they finish their dinner. So thank you. I hope that you like this book, The Ant and the Grasshopper. I really do love this book, and I just wanted to share it with you. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope to see you again soon. Miss Natasha here. See you later.
Thank you, Natasha, for reading those two wonderful stories with us. Aren't they always so good? All right. That being said, I like to let me remove the pin and let me add the pin. Welcome, Robin, for our Indigenous portion. Hi, Robin.
Ani bonjour. So we say hello and we say anin, and yeah, that's how we greet each other, and we say bonjour. And it is, I'm still learning the teaching on that. But it's representative of Nana Bourgeois, and everybody's heard me talk about Nana Bourgeois, and he is, I guess it's a human form and half spirit form, and so that's who Nana Bourgeois is, and that's how I guess we got the word Bourgeois. And for some of our families out there that speak French, it's not necessarily the same, but bonjour is how we greet in French. And I also have a bit of French in me myself, which is pretty nice. I took French immersion, but now I just really focus on Indigenous knowledge, which is exciting. And I'm glad to see everybody. Happy New Year. And I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful break. I know I did. It was very relaxing. But however, I did get really sick again, not with COVID or nothing. I have really bad, severe asthma as a kid. And I know some of us might suffer from asthma on here as well. So I had to take a break because sometimes my asthma turns into bronchitis in the winter. And I've had this since I was a child. I've learned how to deal with it over the years, and I know what is expected and what is to come. But when you get into those coughing kicks, you know, when we get sick, because there still are regular sicknesses out there, but we do have to watch out for the variants that are coming around now, the new ones. But yeah, we have to remember there's other sicknesses out there, and I almost had a scare because I thought it was something else, but it definitely wasn't. So it is great to see everybody, and I have a book that I want to share. Actually, I'm gonna light some some wingash right now. Sweetgrass. I love sweetgrass. I'll just clear out the air because my brain is a little bit foggy. And when my brain gets foggy, it means I'm a little bit nervous. And I guess it's because I haven't been here for a while, or we haven't been here. So I'm just clearing out the air for myself, putting some good thoughts into the storytelling. And yeah, so I finally got books. So I'm so excited, very excited about these books. And this one is actually called Sometimes I Feel Like a Fox. And if you look at the beautiful illustrations on here, they're beautiful. And this is by Daniel. These are brand new books. I don't really want to like bend them yet. Anybody get brand new books and don't want to bend them yet? And you're like, just keep them how it is, nice and brand new. But when they're bent, it just means you've been able to share your books so many times with other youth and families and peoples, and you just got to share those teachings. Oh, here's the beautiful picture drawing in the front. Little reindeer or moose hooves or deer hooves. I think they're actually deer. She resembles a deer right now. This book is dedicated to Owen. You will always be my little dear. It is also dedicated to the thousands of Métis and Aboriginal children who grew up never knowing their totem animal. So before I start quickly, totem animal is different for mine. So totem is like one of those totem poles, the totem animals. And I'm not sure about a lot of those teachings. However, because I'm Anishinaabe, I just know about my teachings, which I want to learn about others so that I have more of an understanding. But for our teachings, we have clans. So if anybody remembers, I'm an Otter clan, Nigig Dodum, which is Otter clan. And that is one of my clans. So this is almost similar, but it's used in different terms and they're for different nations. Sometimes I feel like a fox. Sometimes I feel like a bear, strong and confident. I stand tall and I grow. They protect community and they protect the medicines in the community. And not only that, bears on the 7 grandfather teachings, if you'll remember that, represent courage. So we got to be brave. When we're nervous, let's just be brave about it. Sometimes I feel like a deer, sensitive and kind. I listen to the sounds in the distance and prance throughout the forest. A deer was standing right behind me when I came out of ceremony. Like about 2 months ago, I came out of ceremony and I was standing waiting for an Uber, and a deer came out to greet me. And that deer, when it greeted me, it just stood there and stared at me, and it was very, very close. I was really scared. I had to put on my brave mask and be like, oh. So I walked to the side, but I realized because I was in ceremony doing what I do, and that's praying and asking for help and guidance, that was the spirit of the prayers letting me know that my prayers are being answered. Sometimes I feel like a beaver, busy and purposeful. I only use what I need and always get the job done. Beavers move their dams around. They move their dams according to the seasons. And it's pretty cool because my friend was telling me a story about how they were drumming, and a beaver came out of the bush and it had a big tree bark, and they're like, oh my gosh. But it stopped and listened to the drums, and then it went off into the ocean. Not the ocean, sorry, the lake. We're in lake. Went off into the lake, and that's where it was building one of his homes. Sometimes I feel like a butterfly, delicate and free. I spread my wings wide open and flutter from flower to leaf. That's beautiful. I love butterflies. Butterflies, like, they come from little caterpillars, and then they go into this little cocoon and they wrap themselves up in this cocoon, and they just stick them in the tree or by the leaves or something. And then when they're ready, they come out and they blossom with their beautiful, beautiful wings. And I'll show you at the end, one of the fancy shawls that I have, how it opens up like wings, like a butterfly. So one of our dances are representing of the butterfly, which is so beautiful. Sometimes I feel like a moose, awkward yet graceful. I move swiftly and silently with a gentle strength and wisdom. So if you remember, When I talk about the moose, sometimes we call it game. And we talked about it before when I mentioned about game. We call moose meat game meat because it has a gamey taste in your mouth, but it's super delicious if you're a meat eater. Sometimes I feel like an owl, intuitive and discreet. I fly across the dark night sky, always watching and listening. I don't know much teachings about owls, but I do know that owls are very wise. They do watch over it. And I've never seen an owl up front, like on its own, besides like going to the Toronto Zoo. However, I do hear them hooing all the time, and I like the sound of the noises that they make. So one fun fact about owls is that owls actually lie on the ground with their face in the ground. So it's super funny because they lie flat on the ground and their faces is like this. So they're like just lying there like this. It's super funny. I didn't know that until I actually seen it, and I was like, no way. And I read the like whole article about it, and it was actually pretty cool to notice and to see that. Sometimes I feel like a rabbit, quick and alert. I like to eat my carrots and leap into new adventures. Rabbits have really good eyesight and they love carrots. And if you ever look at a carrot, you'll notice that a carrot, when you cut it, it almost looks like your pupil of your eye. I wish I had a carrot right now. I feel like cutting a carrot right in front of you all so that I could show you. But when you're at home, ask your parents or guardians to cut, or whoever is around to cut the carrot for you, and you'll see that it looks like the pupil, and carrots are supposed to be very, very good for your eyesight. Sometimes I feel like a turtle, slow and quiet. I retreat into my shell and find peace and solitude. I love, love, love turtles. They are a part of the creation story from Sky World. They represent moon teachings. They represent the water. Actually, as a clan, as my clan is otter, my clan helpers, because we have clan helpers, that's turtles. So I have turtles. I have people that are turtle clan that come and help me on my little path in life, reaching myself to the good life. Sometimes I feel like a wolf, intelligent and loyal. I surround myself with family and howl into the moonlight. My mom is a wolf clan. She thought she was bear clan for a long time, and then she found out she was a wolf clan. And what wolves do is when they walk in packs, they don't walk all bunched up together. They usually walk, they'll have the elders, the old wolves walk in front, and then they'll have their sick walk behind the elders, and then they'll have like the youth and children behind the sick, and then the warriors, and then they'll have the one lone wolf that is the leader of that pact. They stay in the back to keep an eye out on everything. So we don't always have to have leaders. That might be a wrong term, but this one is more like, because I don't really like labeling stuff like that, because in our culture we believe that everybody belongs on the same in the same circle. But for instances, the animal kingdom is way different than the human kingdom, and we're actually supposed to be learning off the animals. That's why we have clan teachings and totem teachings. Sometimes I feel like a porcupine, innocent and curious. I have a big imagination and know how to protect myself. They really do know how to protect themselves. You see all these these big quills that come out when they get scared, or not even scared, when they feel like there's danger around because they're small. That's when they spike up and they spike all their quills and then they shoot it out. I've never got shot. I don't want to. So I try to walk nicely and calmly wherever I am. Because sometimes if we walk hard, you know, it might scare off people or animals, or we might squish little bugs. And I believe in the good life where we have to walk nicely on our Mother Earth. Sometimes I feel like a raven, dark and mysterious. I am both messenger and secret keeper and help bring light from darkness. So ravens and crows look alike, and you could tell the difference. I think ravens have more of a triangle tail, and crows have more of like a rectangle shape, and they go like, yeah. I wish I could show you. I hope everybody could vision my little hand movements. But I have two that fly around. I haven't seen them in the winter because they're not around, of course, but they're always coming back, and they always come over the houses and stuff. It's beautiful to listen to, and it's beautiful to see, because there are visitors and they send messages. Sometimes I feel like a fox, sly and sharp. I observe all those around me and disappear quickly. I love foxes. I don't know much about foxes, but I will actually show you a foxtail that I have over there after when we're done the book. So I have two things to show. Oh, it's already done. The bear, the deer, the porcupine, the butterfly, the moose, the owl, rabbit, turtle, fox, raven, porcupine, and wolf. It kind of looked like a dog. So in the totem animals and their meanings, so we'll see if they have almost the same meanings as I said, or similarities. But bear is brave, deer, loving, beaver, determined, butterfly, vulnerable, moose, strong, owl, wise, rabbit, creative, turtle, patient, wolf, loyal, porcupine, curious, raven, truthful, fox, clever. And what's funny is I don't know why I read the words instead of showing you the pictures and then reading what's on the side. So that was my mistake. But that's actually really, and here's the back piece. So give me 2 seconds. I'll hop over here. Show you my house a little bit, I guess. And everything's not that far. So this is my foxtail. And it was given to me as a part of my bundle. And when we receive these kind of stuff, it's not that we go out and hunt them and hurt them. it's not like that. We have a ceremonial process that we utilize before we get something. But most of these animals, they are found dead too, and we'll pick them up, but we'll leave tobacco, we'll leave a gift, and we'll say thank you for the life that you've given, you know. And then when we find these, people put in their prayers and their good thoughts, and then they'll pass it on to other people, and they'll give them explanation on why they gifted something like that as a gift. And usually it's because we not earned it, but sometimes we get teachings in life, and when we get these teachings, we also get rewards. But it's not like we do something to expect something in return. It's just more, you do something and good always comes back. You know, if you do something good, good always comes back, and that comes from the heart when we do something good for each other. And these are all beautiful teachings to carry. And fancy shawl dancers represent a butterfly and represent a cocoon. So this is a shawl. And we put it around us like so. And you see how we could like cocoon ourselves? That's almost like that. But let me put it down. And then the butterfly goes. So just to show you a little piece of my stuff, my grandmother made this. I haven't been able to dance in it yet, but I will eventually. Anyways, I had a really great time visiting everybody today, and I hope everybody had something to learn. Oh wait, I have a few minutes. I didn't even tell you about the dance of the fancy shawl. So the fancy shawl actually dances around like a butterfly, because it's more of showing your wings and stuff, showing all of your stuff that is on here, like these feathers. And when I'm going to add more to this, because we tell a story in these designs that we utilize on our regalias. So I don't want, I just want to let everybody know that the stuff that we wear, the jingle dress that I wear, the fancy shawl that we wear, those are all called regalias. And what they represent a lot of teachings in these regalias. And a lot of people will mistaken it for costumes, but we have to be aware that our stuff isn't costumes, because it's more spiritual, it's more, has stories to it. And a lot of different cultures may have different terminologies and uses for what they want to name the stuff that they wear, and they bring out their own spirituality or just dance in general. And so there's different terminology. So this is called regalia, but if you want to be in Pacifics, this is a fancy shawl. And I can't wait to one day dance in my fancy shawl and be as beautiful and vibrant as a butterfly that dances and shows off its wings and its beauty and just spins around. So I want to say chimi gwetch, everybody. Chimi gwetch. And remember, we don't have a word that says bye. We say Bama P. Yay.
Jimmy Glitch Robin and Jimmy Glitch Natasha. And as both of you have said, yes, welcome back to the holidays. I didn't even see that in the beginning. So welcome back, everybody, from the holidays. I hope you all had a safe and relaxing holiday. I'm gonna add Natasha into this. And Jimmy Guacha to both of you, Jimmy Guacha to everybody watching right now and attending our program. just a couple of announcements. EarlyON in-person programming is closed in person until further notice due to the number of COVID numbers rising. But we will be continuing with virtual programs as usual, as scheduled. So every Wednesday night, evening, we'll be having our wonderful facilitators, Natasha and Robin, doing our African Diaspora and Indigenous storytelling. And if any of you have any questions, feel free to email us at glitterbug@the519.org and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And with that being said, Jimmy Gotch everybody again, and Bama P.
See you later.
Bama P.